You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
I say, who are we? You say Saints. When I say, are we ready? You say, who? Who are we? Say, who are we? Say, who are we? Who are we? Say, who are we? Say, who are we? This is New Orleans. We don't play what you do.
Hello, New Orleans. You're listening to the Sport Coma, your number one podcast on everything Saints and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and her guys.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and this is episode 407 on the Sports Coma. That's right, 407. As we'll be breaking down the Saints chat talk, all the latest Saints training camp news from days 16 and 17. A lot to talk about, family. Welcome aboard to all the new and established listeners of the Sports Coma. That round of applause is for you for joining us today on episode 407. Rolling, man, 16 and 17 day of camp after a hilariously bad outing by the defense. Maybe the Saints, we most know, most certainly that the Saints will turn it around. Sean Payton's is notoriously good at doing that, really getting on a team after seeing some of the things that happen and getting an opportunity to just dissect that tape or basically burn it if you're on the defensive side of the ball after the Saints lost opening. A lot of people say it doesn't matter if we lose in preseason, but preseason is how you would build your regular season. So a win works everywhere. I don't care if it's regular or post. A win is a win in this league. So without that, let's get right into it, family. And before we get going, I'd like to ask all of our new and established people, if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, please take the time to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also the like button, thumbs up button, as we will grow our platform together. Now, some information I want to go over dealing with the Saints here on today's show. We'll cover, like I said, 16 and 17. We'll have some interviews from Coach Payton, Cyril Grace, and Deontay Harris, among other Saints, today on this 40-minute Sports Coma podcast. Haven't done a 40-minute in a while, but it's good. It's relevant, man. We got to talk about a few things, and I felt it was necessary to kind of heap this on us. Now, to get right into the meat and potatoes of the situation, the Saints training camp observations from day number 16 looks like this. Now, we had some participation of Michael Burton, Keith Kirkwood, Garrett Griffin, Alize Mack, Ethan Greenidge, Alex Anzalone, Saquon Hampton, and Marcus Swirls weren't on the field for this camp. Now, wide receiver Rashard Matthews, who we can get really specific in just a moment, tight end Jake Powell, offensive lineman Yorick John were all not there. But Coach Payton announced some stuff about Matthews' contract, that it was terminated, Powell was waived, and John, who left Friday's game with a apparent injury, was placed on injury reserve. Cornerback safety TJ Green, who missed time in training camp for undisclosed issues, was back on the field. So was Wes Horton, who was able to find his way back on the field. The Saints looking for a proven pass rusher or a pass rusher of some sort to back up the top two guys. Now, also, wide receiver Emmanuel Butler, who's been turning heads, he returned to full team drills also this day, missing about 6 days. He was on the field Wednesday in limited fashion, participating in conditioning and stretching, but he didn't play despite being dressed for the Friday matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I would say Emmanuel Butler's ability to go full speed during the 7-on-7 drills, 11-on-11 drills, provided a good sign. He's close to 100% good and ready to participate at 100% of the practices. Also, Jared Cook was another guy that looked pretty good during the training camp. He dropped a few balls Well, he looked good, and then he dropped one showing that, the guy does drop it. But he's been pretty immaculate during these trainings, and people finally seen him drop a ball, man, and showing that he's human. Return to drills was defensive back Aaron Glenn joined the punt return unit midway through practice, and he was catching the ball with those guys. Now, Glenn had wide receivers Deontay Harris, Austin Carr, Cyril Grayson turn around, then signaled an equipment staff on the other end of the field to signal a ball through the jugs machine. The receivers couldn't turn around until the ball was more than halfway to their spot on the field. Then Glenn would tell them to turn around, and the players were responsible for spotting the ball and using one arm to catch it. Now, this repeated 2 or more times, 3 balls per player. Very unique training, Aaron Glenn trying to do that. Now, on the first go-around, Harris snagged all 3 balls, cradling the first catch in his right arm, the second in his left arm, and then using his arms with the ball pinned down tight to his body to catch the third. Carr matched Harris' effort with 3 receptions, while Grayson caught the first 2 but couldn't secure the last one. A little information on Eric McCoy, the second-round draft pick center, who's been filling in admirably after Max Unger's retirement. He had another solid practice sighting with the first team's offense on 11-on drills, making the 8th straight appearance with the starter since July the 30th. And he started against Friday's preseason against the Vikings. And at this point, it will become an observation that McCoy doesn't line up with the starters to start on 11-on drills. He's looking pretty good. Another person that's stepping up during this day of practice was Darnell Sankey, the speedy, undersized linebacker. He made plays on the 11-on-11 drills by jumping a route, almost picking the pass off. He also spent time on the Saints practice squad in 2018, had his share of plays during training camp, and former Saints McAllister is a guy who's really big on him. Now, player of the day for Saturday was Bridgewater, who continued to impress as he produced a solid outing. His arm clearly isn't tired. He produced the gem of a throw during 11-on drills. At the snap of the ball, he threw to Sammy Cobbs Jr., who took down the field. Bridgewater quickly surveyed the field and then noticed Cobbs breaking open before throwing a gorgeous deep ball pass led to Cobbs behind the safety group. And Cobbs caught the ball in stride, then raced to the end zone for what would have been a touchdown in a game. So Sammy Cobbs Jr. really looking good as Teddy Bridgewater stepping up. Darnell Sankey is another guy no one is talking about as he's trying to make his case for the team as well. Now, before we get into the rest of some more news, let's hear some interviews here from Coach Sean Payton as he chimes in on his thoughts.
The big thing to me that was different was the per gain rush attempt and the per pass completion attempt. Those numbers were tilted in their favor. And so I know defensively, looking at that, we felt like, man, and that's why we're playing these games. But our pad level, our leverage on the ball, there were a lot of misfits and things that we've got to improve on. So this would be a good week for us.
Among wide receivers, where do you typically see the biggest jump from year one?
That's a good question. I don't know that you can say consistently with these players. Some players in year one, ready, and they come in. Colston was that way. It didn't look that way early, but this guy, Mike, was that way. And then we've had players that maybe took a year or two longer. So I think it can vary.
Coach, what do you like about Kerwin Williams leading to his signing?
Well, look, we had seen him. We felt like the prior workout, we felt like he ran well. I mean, his speed, you feel. Those were the things when he was in for the workout a week ago, and he was a guy we discussed, and so it was an easy sign for us because we'd already just seen him work out.
Eric McCoy is obviously handling more and more. How did he handle the preseason game?
Pretty good. I thought he functioned well. There's a handful of things technique-wise that Dan and Nuge will work on. All that experience for him, just getting those snaps. He's a strong player, and you saw that on his college tape, and you're beginning to see it now on this tape. So I was encouraged.
What about Porter Gustin when you look at the tape from last night? What if anything about him?
Well, look, he plays with great effort. He's got length. Again, a player's younger, and the snaps he's getting are invaluable. Like, what is the thing? I think he's someone that can pressure the quarterback. He's got long arms, and it makes it difficult to block. So, but he's developing, and he's got a ways to go.
You're kind of like an old school kind of guy. What do you think about the way he wears his shorts up high? Is that like a throwback to the 70s?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. These guys all have different fashions, so you kind of lose track of it. At first, I got mad at Bum, but he said those were the requested sizes. So.
Sean, we saw Deontay Harris miss about a week and then just kind of jump right in and look pretty good.
Yeah, I was encouraged that he got some snaps because he hadn't really, he had a hamstring issue. And you got to be careful. He wants to get back. A young player like that from a small school, it's hard to sit in the training room for a period of time. And yet with an injury like that, if you're not careful, a grade 1 becomes a grade 2 very quickly if you're hurried back into the lineup. So had it been a game week, he probably would have been questionable on Friday, and then he felt a lot better yesterday, and so we got him enough reps, and I was encouraged with what we saw.
But in relation to like a guy like him missing time and just kind of jumping right in, is for returners especially, is that something where it's just like
that
some
was
guys
encouraging.
just have it?
I would say to some degree, you felt his speed, and it's something. I mean, if you said why is he here first, that would be the initial vision, as a returner.
That's Coach Sean Payton, family chiming in, Coach Payton chiming in on his thoughts on practice of day 16. A lot of stuff for the coach to say, man, but really interesting, man, if you take a listen to what Coach was saying, dealing with, the return men or what have you. But the receiver battle is something that's particularly lining up and heating up pretty good, and that's something I want to touch on before we hit the break. The Saints decided to cut ties with Rashard Matthews. And when Rashard Matthews signed, he comes over from the Titans, and he was a guy that was pretty productive, and it was a big thing in terms of having him here. Now, if you look at what happened during the Minnesota Vikings preseason matchup, he was thrown at one time, he caught one pass, and really didn't see him out there too much. And often, let's go over that information, by the way. Now, Rashard Matthews' contract was terminated with a left squad designation. And Coach Payton said after practice that it was Matthews' choice to leave. Now, obviously, he is not stipulated why Rashard Matthews decided to ultimately leave. I'm saying that, he was the most veteran and most clearly eligible or qualified candidate for the slot position. This is a really surprise. This is a big surprise for me, for him leaving. But Sean Payton was quoted saying it's not for everyone at this point, and he didn't say why he left. And he probably left because he probably felt, just assuming that he wasn't getting enough snaps, so he might have seen a better opportunity with another team somewhere, and he decided to cut bait and run to get on. But we will know sooner or later if that's the decision, because he'll probably catch on with another team at this point. Really interesting to see him just jump and leave the team like that. Really curious. Very curious information right here. And that's what we're trying to find out, exactly what was the butt of that, I don't know. That's very weird. But losing a player of his magnitude and that can help out in the slot was real big. Now, you look at what he brought. Now, he was just 29 years old, and he asked the Titans for his release last September before ultimately leaving and going there. So this is not nothing new for him to not see. I guess he's not seeing himself fit in or get opportunities and decide to leave. But what it does is it gives, it opens up a lot more for other guys on the team. You've seen a lot of Deontay Harris this preseason game. You've seen LaJordan Humphrey step up. Emmanuel Butler will obviously play in the second preseason game. Sammy Cobbs Jr. was there. Austin Carrs is there. I mean, Traven Durrell was there. He dropped the pass, but it's the wide receiver room is starting to narrow a bit. And Rashard Matthews is no longer a guy on the team. So real interesting, man. I just, I thought, that he had an opportunity to really stick in there. But Coach Payton said it was his choice to leave, so you just got to leave it at that. Tight end Jake Powell, who was signed last week, was ultimately released as well. Veteran offensive lineman Uric John, who had an injury on the field, he was placed on IR. And Payton said the team will bring in more players to fill those voids. So that's 3 players, Rashard Matthews, Jake Powell, and Uric John, that are no longer on the team. So we're looking at 3 potential signings to fill those vacancies. So Payton also was quoted as saying, we'll look this week to bring in a few different players and different positions, really for workouts, which isn't all that uncommon. So it isn't uncommon for Coach Payton to go out hopefully, you look at the remaining receivers in the wide receiver room outside of Mike Thomas, Ted Ginn Jr. It's Traquan Smith, Keith Kirkwood, Emmanuel Butler, LaJordan Humphrey, Cyril Grayson Jr., Sammy Cobb Jr., Austin Carr, Deontay Harris, and Traven Durrell are the remaining wide receivers left in the wide receiver room. As stuff starts to trickle down, family, imagine that. Very, very unique circumstances. I'm very puzzled by that, man. I really had high hopes for Rashard Matthews. For him to just decide to walk away from the team is really puzzling, man. Very, truly, truly puzzling to me. But anyway, family, before we hit the break, let's play. We got a little bit more interviews we want to play for you. Cyril Grayson, let's hear him before the break as he talks about what happened, how he's doing during camp. Here's Cyril Grayson.
I think that I did a good job for the most part. After watching film, there was good things. There's some things that I could improve on. So it was good overall. Good first night.
What was some of the positive feedback you got after the film session?
That I was running fast, that I was being physical, that I was kind of doing the right things. So that's the first thing that we're evaluating, if I can do the right things. So for the most part, I was doing that.
What sort of progression do you feel like you made in camp so far?
I think I'm building a decent house, stacking the bricks each day, just trying to improve and take coaching. And I think that we're on a good upward slope right now.
You kind of describe that sideline pass that you caught.
Yeah, it's kind of in a 2-minute drill, so it wasn't, too much time to celebrate. Kind of trying to hurry up and get the ball back to the line, and it was kind of close, so I knew we were probably going to try to run a quick play to try to make sure that we got that catch.
That's Cyril Grayson, man, chiming in with his thoughts on camp day 16, man, and a lot going on Saints camp, man. Like I said, Rashard Matthews is out the door, but it opens up other opportunities for other Saints to step up. Keith Kirkwood, LaJordan Humphreys. Maybe this is time for some of these guys like Emmanuel Butler to shine in that role. It's 3 more games in the preseason wind down, man. But we'll talk about more. Day 17, news and notes, plus interviews from Coach Payton, Vince Bigel, and other guys on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Stay with us.
If you haven't heard the Sports Coma, this is what you're missing. Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home-delivered, restaurant-quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50-plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commitment. Welcome to the one-shop gourmet food delivery, specialized affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from HomeBistro.com? Restaurant quality, made with natural ingredients, delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat. Doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering, and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with HomeBistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with HomeBistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, the WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needed the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them embraced. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Perfect. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, man. We're talking Saints. Day 16 and 17 of the podcast. For those who are not subscribers, I urge you to subscribe now. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell for future content, as you are now listening to the #1 independent Saints podcast in the land, baby. The Sports Coma entering its 5th season of talking about the black and gold, man. In this side of the break, we'll go into more news and notes dealing with camp day 17. A couple of days off of the horrible preseason outing by the New Orleans Saints, and not a complete outing. Special teams look pretty decent. We covered that on the last 2 shows. Also, just a little word programming note for those who don't know, the Sports Coma goes live. We do a live stream every Saturday at noon Central Time, 12 o'clock Central Time on our YouTube channel. So subscribe, hit the notification bell to be a part of the Sports Coma as we cover our beloved black and gold. This is a platform for true diehard Saints fans. So if you're a true diehard Saints fans, welcome to the Sports Coma and join the family, baby. But this is another thing. Day 17 of the camps. We're going to play a few interviews from Coach Payton. Let's go into it. Now, on this day, they had 10 players to start practice during the indoor portion of Sunday's training camp. Running back Alvin Kamara, Alex Anzalone, Michael Burton, who's the backup fullback, wide receiver Keith Kirkwood, tight end Garrett Griffin, tight end Alize Mack, left tackle Teron Armstead, rookie offensive lineman Ethan Greenidge, rookie safety Saquon Hampton, and cornerback Marcus Shrells were not observed there. Kamara has taken a Veterans Day off so far, so that could be a possible explanation. Alex Anzalone, Shrells, Hampton were not present on Saturday's practice either. Kirkwood hasn't practiced since leaving the field for undisclosed reasons on August the 1st. A span of 7 training camp practices have bypassed him at this point. So very interesting stuff dealing with the Saints at this portion. Very interesting, man. What's going on with Keith Kirkwood, man? You know, what the heck is going on with Keith Kirkwood? You know, like saying Sean Payton doesn't get pretty decent injury reports during the preseason, so we're not knowing exactly what's going on with him. Hopefully he's fine to come back and make a contribution, but then again, maybe Coach Payton sees enough of Keith Kirkwood to understand what he brings to the table. Now, it's kind of ironic, but you know, it's been hot out here. Veterans, the Cam Jordan, in the midst of his 9th August training camp, said he could pinpoint Payton trying to use Sunday as a test for some of the rookies who may not be quite acclimated to the workload and mental and physical stresses that's happened. And, quote, there's supposed to be some sort of high level of stress. You've got 2 practices in the game and in these last 3 days, and this is something you will want to put yourself to, not under stress your mind, but stress your body as well, so you know when you're under duress, you have something to rely on. That's what Cam said. And he also quoted saying, but I think we had a high level of competition today. Now, every practice is going to take its own form, but if everyone comes out with the right mentality and try to find that 1% where they can get better, guys may get banged up, be sore, maybe whatever. But at the end of the day, if you find that one area to improve upon, whether it's the mental aspect, physical, we're heading in the right direction. End quote by Cam. Now, Saints will take the field for traditional practice Monday morning. That's open to the public and the media before and off day again on Tuesday. And a travel day Wednesday as they get ready to go to Los Angeles to take on the blasted Chargers. Now that the team's preseason games kick off Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Dignity Health Sports Complex in Carlson, California. Now, it's a lot going on. As Sean Payton was saying, it's hot out here. He said we've got to get freshened up and ready to go tomorrow. So a lot of light work here on Sunday, but still in all, work nonetheless. Let's listen to Coach Payton. Let's see if you guys got the chimed up. Guys are working to get it tuned up, family, as we get into the day 17 of the camp. Here's Coach Sean Payton, family, talking about day 17 of training camps.
It's hot out here. Played the other night, practiced yesterday. We got to get them freshened up and ready to go again tomorrow.
Sean, what kind of goes into building quarterback center chemistry? Is it just kind of finding consistency there?
Well, I think so. The first thing you'd say is repetition. Time on task, and then I think communication with the center and the quarterback. There's a lot that goes on relative to the run game and the passing game, and so building that communication and Eric getting up to speed with how Drew operates, how quickly he operates, and then the guards next to him. Today, another thing was it was all silent snap count. There was no cadence today, so that creates a little undue stress. But we're going to be on the road in Seattle. We're going to be on the road in some of these venues where you've got to work on that, and you just can't wait for the week of the game to work on it. So hopefully, that's something we can continue to improve on.
That was the issue with the earned snap today.
Sure, yeah. Snap earlier, and that's part of it, yeah. All right, thank you.
That was Coach Payton chiming on his thoughts on today's practice, family, as well. Coach Payton really kind of just hitting you with the aspect of it, getting the team ratcheted up for, ramping it up for the next preseason game, going out there, playing in a very good team. Head coach Anthony Lynn is out there. That's a hell of a coach out there. That's a hell of a team that the Los Angeles Chargers are, and they are ferocious. Even though without the top running back, that is still a team to watch out for. It'd be a fairly good test for some of the Saints players. See how Teddy Bridgewater plays in that environment. Also see how a lot of those guys kind of adjust to playing in the enemy territory. A lot of questions dealing with some of the younger players. A lot of young players we need to watch out for. Darnell Sankey was somebody made mention of as well. We haven't really been talking about him too much, but a lot about Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis is a guy that has been, a lot of people have been speaking about Caden Ellis and his abilities and what he could bring to the field. Now, we got an interview lined up with Caden Ellis to hear his thoughts on camp. Here's Cade.
It's still fun. It's a blast. It's a blessing to be out here. And these vets are awesome, reminding us young guys that not promised another day, not promised another opportunity, so have fun and make the most of it.
Caden, what's been the kind of the steepest learning curve for you making the jump from Idaho to here?
Man, there's been a lot. I mean, I'd say just overall is the knowledge and the recognition of the game. These guys like AJ, DD, Alex, Sank, Craig, all these guys that have been here, they recognize plays and formations and tendencies so fast, and even the depth of the back in the game. After the first series, they're coming out talking about it. And for me, that's a jump. We didn't necessarily recognize that stuff. We kind of waited for our coaches to recognize it in college. So just the overall understanding and recognition, it's amazing how good they are at it, and I'm so thankful for how much they're helping me in it. They're teaching me each and every day. I've been with AJ a lot, all the vets a lot, and they're just so awesome about really trying to help me develop in that area. So I'm thankful for them.
Caden Ellis, family. Caden Ellis chiming on his thoughts on camp. Even though Caden Ellis is a seventh round draft pick. Even though he's a 7th-round draft pick, there's a lot to talk about when dealing with a guy like Caden Ellis. His abilities, very productive, very fast player that can help you in a multitude of different ways. Perhaps he can help in the pass rush game, because that's something that we need to talk about dealing with the Saints coming into it. Of course, those 3 spots that the Saints have opened up with getting rid of Rashard Matthews, who basically chose to leave the team for probably another opportunity somewhere, who knows. And then there's the offensive lineman that ultimately got hurt. Then this Jake Powell, who was a long shot anyway. The Saints perhaps will bring in some pass rushers to help the team out. We need more pass rushers or whatever. No more running backs and no more tight ends. Sean Payton. No more wide receivers. We don't need any more wide receivers in here unless, it's the guy named Dez Bryant down the line who you could possibly look at. That's even a question whether or not you would need him down the line. But the running back situation seems to be fine, even though they still have Curlin Williams here. We don't need to look at any more running backs, no more tight ends, no more wide receivers. Most certainly, we don't need any more offensive linemen. How about some pass rushers? How about some pass rushers? How about some pass rushers? And speaking about pass rushers, here's a guy that likes to stop them in their tracks, Eric McCoy. Here's his thoughts.
Playing it, but it felt good. Speed of the game felt good. I didn't feel like it took me long to catch up at all.
Have you felt like a moment where you felt too fast, or this is different than college, or has it just been relatively seamless?
First day of OTAs. It was my first time out here with anybody. First day with the vets, and that was kind of like a you got to get your act together type deal. But since then, I feel like it's been pretty smooth.
What's been the process of like building a relationship, chemistry with Drew? People might see the chemistry with like wide receivers is kind of easier to understand. How does it kind of work with you and him? Is it just like getting used to his cadence?
Yeah, it's definitely just getting used to his cadence. His quick cadence is a little bit slower than everybody else's, just because he likes to do a bigger pause to see things a little bit more, and really just the under center quarterback center exchange. He's been used to a guy for the past 4 or 5 years, and with the new center, it's different feels on everything. So,
has it been kind of beneficial for you to get a lot of these first team reps just to kind of like understand those nuances of Drew?
Yes, I would definitely say it's been beneficial. It's helped me out a lot, and really just how he sees things and how he prepares. I'm trying to take some of that in my game as well.
Eric McCoy, man. Eric McCoy, who I termed as the Saints starting center for the next 10 years, is getting familiar with Drew Brees since he seized control of the center position. He's been there practicing with the first team. That was already understood. Many people thought Eason was going to be there. Tom Clapp. No. This guy is going to lock it up for the next 10 years, and he will be a perennial Pro Bowler in the next 2 or 3 seasons. So lock it in on the real deal, or the real McCoy, Eric McCoy. Big ups to him. Saints keep it moving, man, and a lot of young, talented players are on this team that can contribute in a multitude of different ways. And there's a lot of buzz around a lot of these guys. One of such guys is a big wide receiver named Emmanuel Butler, the Butler, and here is his thoughts on camp thus far.
Here to be able to play the game that I love and compete every day, it's truly a blessing. So I'm very thankful to be back out on the field.
Obviously, a lot of missed time, and you had a strong start to training camp. But what did you do to not get frustrated during that stretch of period?
I tried to lean on God. That's what I do. I'm a big guy in my religion. Born and raised in church, so I try to just stay strong in my faith. I'm someone that believes that everything happens for a reason. So stay strong in my faith. Understand that God I'm right where God wants me to be. And just because things got delayed doesn't mean that it's denial. So just getting in my playbook, making sure that I can do everything that I can, so that when I do step back out on that field, I'm gonna be 100% ready to go.
Emmanuel, how much are you looking forward to going against different DBs, quarterbacks, and a playoff team, quality team like the Chargers?
It's exciting. This is what I've been dreaming of since I was a little kid, playing NFL football. And I didn't get to step on the field last week, but this week I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yes, sir.
Emmanuel Butler's thoughts on it, his faith, and how he parallels his religion and his belief system into his gameplay. You can see he's a very common and very grounded individual, and you can see he's very strong, talented player. Hopefully this wide receiver contribute. I mean, he, among other people on his team, as far as the wide receivers go, he's probably one of the brightest of the young prospects the Saints have there, not named Keith Kirkwood. Now, we know what Keith Kirkwood represent, but you got to say, a lot of these wide receivers, whether it's LaJordan Humphreys, Emmanuel Butler, Simi Cobbs Jr., they are challenging guys like Traquan Smith. These are undrafted guys with chips on their shoulder. And you have Traquan Smith, who's a third-round selection out of Central Florida, who continues to drop passes. He better pay attention, and he better keep looking over his shoulder, because these young, hungry wide receivers is coming to get it, man. I mean, you don't have that much room for error here, Traquan Smith, with the drop passes and all this nonsense. He have to step his game up, because these young wide receivers are coming. Not to mention guys like Cyril Grayson and Deontay Harris. These guys have nothing to lose, and they're throwing everything they can at this team to try to make it happen. So even Austin Carr's in that mixture. Let's listen to Cam Jordan, the leader of defense, his thoughts on camp thus far. His Cam.
It was a little tough. I felt like I was more so anxious just to get out there. I love the game of football. I love playing. So having to watch was a little tough. But I also felt like it was a great experience. My first.
That's why you have a preseason game. Tune everything up. There's a lot of quick throws. I mean, it was first reads, and you throw that in live bullet, we may be able to do something about it. When you talk about just the progression of a preseason, you see some things you want to see more of. So I always put it on D-line. I always put it on we want to make our pass rush perfect. So we get in the game, it's going to be, when we get to live season anyways, real season, it's going to be exactly where we need to be.
Cameron, what do you think of the way Porter Gustin wears his shorts? You say anything to him?
I don't know. He's like a late 90s kid, right? They're different. But, I mean, or you can just say they're just retro. I mean, at some point, style always comes back, right? He half cut off shirt, short shorts. He's coming straight out of the program. I'm going to leave it there.
Sean said he felt like y'all kind of hit the wall today a little bit because of the heat, the game, the practice. Do you feel the same way, or do you think you were okay today?
Look, in every training camp, there's got to be some stress. He created a stress level today that you had to face and make it through full adversity. In a training camp, there's supposed to be some sort of high level of stress. You go 3 practices in whatever amount of time we've done, or 2 practices in a game. This is something that you want to put on yourself to not only stress your mind but stress your body as well. So when you're under duress, you have something to rely on.
How do you feel that everyone responded to that?
I think we had a high level competition today. When you talk about practice, every practice is going to take its own form. Every game is going to take its own form. But I think everybody comes out with that right mentality to try and find that 1% we're going to get better. Guys may be banged up, maybe sore, maybe whatever. But at the end of the day, if you find one area to get improved upon, whether it's the mental aspect of the game or physical, then we're headed in the right direction.
Does every member of the defense have its own secret handshake now?
I don't know. If you go through the DBs, they probably do. You go through D-line, we're pretty solid. I mean, at some point, you probably got to cut down on some of the time before games or whatever. But at this point, it's just about being as close as we can together. It's about that camaraderie aspect to it, and I think we trust each other enough to not only have handshakes, but it wasn't forced. Everything's just natural right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leading into. It seems like y'all are pretty close.
Absolutely.
Close-knit unit.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about a brotherhood, it's got to be a family, and we're trying to bring that family aspect now. I mean, we got some young guys who are rotating in, rookies anyways, and you talk about just the way that they can come in and seamlessly be a part of our defense. That's exactly what we need. So whatever gets us there faster.
Are you trying to be Marcus's football father?
No, not at all. You talk about Marcus Davenport and just his ability. He's got a lot of things that he wants to do mentally. And it's all about trying to tell him. Sometimes it's not about business so much. It's about going out there and physically get enough rest to where everybody knows what needs to do.
Cam Jordan family. Cam Jordan, his thoughts on the camp thus far as we're getting ready to roll out. But Saints looking good, man. They hit a bit of a wall, man, in this Sunday's practice. But we'll keep monitoring the black and gold, man, as they get closer and closer to the next preseason game. Thank y'all for joining us for the Sports Coma on Big Q and the guys. Subscribe, join the nation, man. Subscribe, join, hit the notification button. Check out our Teespring Pro Shop on Teespring to get all the latest gear. The Roger Goodell Chump shirt the dat slap disrespectful Saints fans, disrespectful fans that talk about the team a lot more. Check the link in the description section below. Thank y'all for joining us today. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that?
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.